So find a chair or sit with your back against a wall or on your hips raised slightly in some cross-legged or straight-legged position if you're used to it. As I said, I want to be thinking about the breath and not worried. I don't want to not be aware of the body, but I don't want to be concerned with holding the body. I want that to be as easy as it can be. And warm. So yum, yum, yum. And I seem to remember in the last session, we didn't really get to do any proper breathing exercises. So today, tissue at the ready, just in case. And whatever we do, even though I've stated and have the intention of thinking about the breath, have to start in the body. Can't ignore it, you see. You can't think, okay, I won't bother with that, or just start doing some breathing, because it doesn't work unless the body is parked carefully and comfortably. And as I said, with a straight spine. So if you're already there, if you have achieved the sitting position and you're just feeling weightless and comfortable and settling, then just stay there. Otherwise, lean forward, breathe down through the spine, feel all the upper body melt with the first exhalation, a kind of an untightening, inner untightening with the first exhalation. And think about the weight, or visualize the weight, or focus on the weight going out from the tail. That's the bottom of the spine. So it feels like the breath is carrying the energy and tension down through the spine and then out through the bottom of the spine and the top of the thighs and the bottom of the hip bones, wherever you feel the weight under the pelvis. And if your feet are on the ground, your legs are straight on the ground, then obviously you'll have more contact all the way along, not all the way along, but where your leg is touching the ground, you'll feel that different from where your knee, for example, or heel may be off the ground. And if you're sitting in a chair, you'll have the feet on the ground. So if you don't want dangling feet. I'm short, so I've got a cushion under my feet, so my feet feel, I've raised the ground. And I don't want to spend ages talking about alignment. You know, we all know that it's a very exact awareness. So you have exactly the same amount of weight under the left and under the right side. And just concentrate on that for another 2 or 3 breaths. Just really think about, feel, notice any slight discrepancy between the left and the right side, and see what you do to fix it. Do you move the head? Do you move the shoulders? Do you soften something? Do you tighten something? What do you do to make these teeny adjustments, almost internal adjustments between left and right, until you're exactly I think weight in the case of sit bones means pressure. So we have the same amount of pressure. And then release the shoulders. So the next exhalation, as you breathe out, soothe, really make a difference to your right shoulder, really make a difference to your left shoulder, really make a difference to the right, where the right neck meets the right shoulder, really make a difference to where the left neck meets the left shoulder, that corner. You want to feel that there's a gap there where the neck meets the shoulder and the head is free to float, floaty float. And let the face become empty. It's not that you're giving off a message. It's not that you're communicating anything to anybody outside with your face. For once in our lives, or in your lives, you're free to not be looked at. Just feel the facial muscles as you do all the rest of the muscles in the body. And then just scan the body as if you're inside the body with a torch and you're pointing it inside and just checking, is there anywhere you're looking for, anywhere where you're holding tension, anywhere where you haven't released, the armpits, the groins, the front of the ankles, base of the throat. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in there. I'm in here. And then just come to the abdomen as the breath comes and goes, and feel, notice the breath from the point of view of the inside of the abdomen. And as the breath goes out and the tummy softens, don't continue to breathe out, just an ordinary, easy, comfortable breath. Just make sure the shoulders go with the out breath. So as the breath comes in, you keep it calm. And as the breath goes out, release the shoulders, let the head float. Now I want to just really make sure that we're entirely present and that the body and the breath is all joined up very nicely and easily. So let's do 3 rounds of 10, because we're starting out today, 10 Kapalabhati. So for that, you breathe in and you breathe out. Normally let the head float and the even sit bones drop. Breathe in, not fully, but breathe in. And then each exhalation is really from low, from 3 fingers under the abdomen and 3 fingers in, low. And the tummy is allowed, once the tummy gets drawn in with each Kapalabhati, it's immediately, it just pops straight out again. It's not held at all. It doesn't reach the throat. Ideally, I mean, I'm talking about what the ideal here. I mean, everyone's Kapalabhati sometimes get caught in the throat, but we try not to. We try to not frown with each Kapalabhati. We try not to let the jaws become involved with each Kapalabhati. Just keep going, do 10, then have an inhalation and exhalation, half an inhalation, and do another 10, as fast or as slow as you like, but individuals. Each one quite clear and quite specific. And the tummy goes in, not out. Yes, I can see. That's great. Brilliant. Now I'm going to go straight into alternate nostril breathing now. I suggest that we do. I just want to run through a few pranayama things we haven't done in a while. So if you just cover one nostril, I've got my arm that's covering the nostril supported. I find it helps. I'm sure you could use a cushion or something, but I use my other arm because it's available. And shutting the nostril very lightly. Breathe in through one and out through another, to the other. Then breathe in. After the inhalation, you shut that nostril and open the other. After the inhalation, it doesn't matter which, how fast, how slow, just let this come to the speed it wants to be, or that you want it to be, who's in charge of it after all. make it comfortable, make it not a problem. Don't challenge yourself, don't go as far as you can, or short, or as long, or as anything as you can. Keep it well within your comfort range. It's just one nostril, and after the inhalation, you cover that nostril and change. Make sure the head doesn't move to the hand. Make sure the shoulders, as you breathe out, use the exhalation to help the shoulders release, because there is obviously some shoulder involvement here. After the inhalation, no matter how long or how short, when you're ready, when you want to, cover that nostril and open the other. Keep the face internally lovely and soft and privately quiet. And every exhalation is a chance to aid the shoulders. If your shoulders feel that they could do with a bit of soothing, use the exhalation to soothe the side of the neck, the top of the shoulders, the jaws. Now slightly, not a lot, slightly lengthen the breath. So just add another and, the word and, to the both sides of the breath. Keep using the sigh of release with every exhalation. 30 more seconds. Emptying the back of the neck. Keep releasing the shoulders if there's any percentage in doing that. Okay, and then release the arms. And continue just momentarily for another minute to focus on breathing in through the left, for example, and focus on the breath going then out through the right nostril. All your attention inside the right nostril. Stay in the right nostril as the breath comes into the right nostril. And then shift all your interest to the left nostril as the air goes out the left nostril. Stay interested in the left nostril as the air comes in. And breathe out through the right nostril, releasing the shoulders, the jaws, the face. Oh. In through the right nostril. And out through the left. And just breathe naturally and evenly through both nostrils. And in fact, before we move on, if you focus on the inside of both nostrils as you breathe in evenly, so like the sit bones, you're looking at both and comparing them really. So breathe in through both nostrils. And stay very firmly inside the nostrils, one place, just there as you breathe out. And then as you breathe in inside the nostrils, so basically stay inside the nostrils really seeing, we're only going to do this for another 30 seconds, so because it should be really intense, completely involved and fascinated by the differing sensations that are changing all the time dynamically inside the nostrils. Pay no heed to the length of the breath, don't worry about it, just be interested in how it feels. Whatever the breath does, it does. Just let it get on with it and just stay inside the nostrils. Okay. I just want, before we go into, I just want to revisit the Buteyko method of breathing. If anyone has any lung problems ever in their life, any kind of asthmatic or COPD kind of bronchial issues, this kind of breathing is what they are now teaching. And it's helped a number of people that I know. And I have actually done it with you before, but I just thought it was worth a revisit. It's very interesting. There's a guy called Buteyko, you can look him up, he's a Russian. He's got a huge clinic in Russia, and it's kind of a more mature science over there, the science of breathing. Anyway, this is the method where we teach ourselves. The underlying idea, by the way, is that carbon dioxide, we need it, our bodies need it. We don't want to be, and we don't want to be using too much air. We breathe too much air for our own health. And so we've landed on a planet where the air, in fact, what I'll do is I'll read you his words, which I wrote down some months ago. One of his teachers. You've just landed on this planet. All breath is through the nose. Breathe slowly. Breathe very gently, because the air feels wonderful. But it's very, very powerful, as in the sense of rich, powerful. It would be bad to take too much. It's lovely as long as we modulate the amount we use. It's me going on here. So it's powerful. Take only what you need. Breathe shallowly. So you never fill the lung. You just let the air come in as much as you want. You don't stop it, but you don't go beyond what would naturally come in. Breathe shallowly. The air gently circulating through the nose. And as it does so, taste it. Feel it. Breathe with joy. It's like drinking a delicious juice through a very narrow straw and enjoying every single moment of it. So while the air is delicious, just a little of it is enough. And as you breathe slowly, the air itself becomes more peaceful. Healthy breathing is always through the nostrils, which prepare the air for our consumption. It's invisible, doesn't move the shoulders. And eventually, even the chest will stop moving, and there'll be a minimal movement even in the belly. And there may be the slightest, not an extended, a short pause at the end of an exhalation. So I added that thing for myself about the perfume. When you smell a nice perfume, a delicious smell, what I do is internally I slightly widen the inside of the nostrils. So it's that idea of tasting the air. But very gently, very, very, very quietly. Now I'm going to add a Buteyko exercise, which is at the end of the or as you exhale, when you finish exhaling, just pause and count to 5. So you finish exhaling, you would normally be thinking about the breath coming. You just stop and you count to 5. So it's a simple hold of the exhalation for 5. Never so much as you need to have a big inhalation. The inhalation stays small. Okay, and then just drop the pause and come back to the shallow breathing of delicious air, but just keep it really comfortable and really natural. But I want to turn this into a brief meditation. So if you want to move or anything, preparation for that now would be a good time. And I just want to bring the two things together. The shallow, the delicious air, and therefore less breath. I mean, if ever you feel you want to take a huge breath, and enjoy, obviously, but in general, minimizing the breath a little. Don't overdo that. And we're doing it from the point of view of both nostrils. So just stay there. Inside the nostrils. So the breath, the quiet nostril breath is at the center. As a metronome, keeping time. But the piece of music is the whole body. From the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. And in the center is the metronome, quiet nostril breath. Just notice how the body feels now. And see if you can, without moving, just visualize that from the waist down, you've been buried. The ground over the eons that you've been sitting here has grown up, and the ground is now up to your waist. And the upper body, particularly the head and shoulders, feels very light, weightless. So just very slowly, almost imperceptibly, let your left ear ooze as if it's going through some kind of viscous medium, so not fast. Ooze, the ear oozes down towards the shoulder, which doesn't come up to meet it, neither does it go away. You gradually reach the point where you can let the weight of the head be responsible for any doing. Keep the arms as far as you can and the shoulders out of it. And don't allow how you are, your mood to be affected. So if you feel at all anxious in doing this, stop, come back. Just stay well within the it's okay range. As you gradually. Of course, the face is positively empty. And it doesn't matter, by the way, if you tilt a bit or you don't, just whatever comes. You're obviously having the awareness is brought to the stretch at the top of the neck, where the top neck meets the shoulder, and it's there that you rest your attention now. And just have it be okay, that sensation of stretch, that it's okay. And then using gravity, breathing down through the spine, down through the sit bone you're going towards, I think. Come up a bit taller with the head, just perhaps a millimetre floating above where it was before you started. And just check the head is as free from the neck. It's not attached, it's not gripped to the neck in any way. And as and when, slowly to start with, the air goes down towards, the right ear goes down towards the right. Important to keep the jaw muscles out of it. And it's nicer to keep the forehead open, lips empty. If, as soon as you feel this sensation, the stretch, whatever you want to call it, on the top of the neck, that bothers you, stop. Wait, come up a bit. Or, just don't push it. When you've had a good look at the sensation that went, hang on. When you looked at it and you think, actually, that's okay. As you exhale, see if you want to release the head more to go a bit further. See if you can persuade the shoulders to stay out of it and the upper arm muscles in the arms. Pit. Go to the specific location where you can feel the stretch and have a really good look at it. Evaluate what you're going to do. You're going to release more, you're going to come up. What are you going to do? It's probably time to come up anyway. Slowly, don't jerk up, come up not quite as slowly as you went down, but nearly. Very carefully, so you don't hurt your neck, basically. And let's just lean forward on the knees on the chair. Or if you're sitting down, your hands on your thighs on the ground. Just to take the weight off the back of the body. Release the skin on the back of the body. I'm going to stand in a minute. But before we do, can you just sit up and next? Now, last week, I brought the arms up in spirals in order to avoid locking shoulders. So find a way of, negotiate. I have one shoulder that's not a problem, one shoulder that is a problem. And the shoulder that is a problem, I find the spirals really helpful. And the one that it isn't, you kind of think, what she's going on about? So, depends where your shoulders are. Come and rest them at shoulder height. And when you think they're at shoulder height, and you can use the monitor if you can see yourself, see if you can rest the top of your shoulders. So rest around the, where the hairdresser puts the heavy weight, or used to hold the gown. A cape. Let the shoulders drop while the arms float. Maybe turn the hands, the palms a bit. See if that's any easier. Find a position where the hands are soft, and then you can release the shoulders maybe a bit better, a bit more, and the neck. Now breathing down, if your shoulders want to play, aren't a problem today, breathing down through the sit bones, let the hands come above the head. And like a prayer position really, except the fingertips touch. And as you breathe down, let the hands go in the air and drop the shoulders. And that's going to be quite challenging to some shoulders, but don't overdo it. And then let go and come down, leading with the elbows, softly, 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 softly. It's definitely time to move. Let's stand up. And the elbows on your chair or a chair or table or the arm of a sofa, that kind of height. And this isn't this is an adaptation of the half dog. So the half dog has the hands on the surface and you stand way back with the arms straight. This is walking in from that. So the elbows and the forearms and hands are on the ground, on your chair, and so is your head. Now, if that is too much of a stretch for the back of your legs, your chair is too low, you will need to get hold of a cushion or a bolster or a pile of books and raise the height of your chair until you can do this with a soft torso. You want the torso not to be jangled. You want the torso to remain you want it to be possible to really let the arm muscles, genuinely let the arm muscles release. I'm trying, one of the things that interesting me a lot at the moment is this doing one thing at a time in the context of yoga. So that's both, as you go around the body, you do one thing at a time. You release, for example, between the shoulder blades. This breath, release between the shoulder blades. Nothing else, just release between the shoulder blades. Next breath, right arm. What can you affect with the right arm? When I say breath, I mean exhalation. Next exhalation, left arm. All the muscles in the upper left arm. That will involve the shoulder. What can you do? What about now, next exhalation, behind the Adam's apple? Next exhalation, the top of the pelvis, where the pelvis is, your tutu is opening. Next exhalation inside the face. And then you can come to where what I like about this pose in this context is that we're really stretching, and different degrees, the backs of our legs. You know, some people feel it more in their calves, some people more higher up, some people more in the back of the knees, some people more in the buttocks, I guess. I'm hoping that no one is suffering in the shoulders. If you want to, you can release, if it helps, if it's more comfortable, you can release the arms. I find that puts a bit too much weight on my head, but for some people, or when your arms are problematic, you can drop the arms. You don't have to hold them up there. That's problematic. You want to take all the angst out of the upper body, so that the only sensation there is to deal with at all that's challenging is the slight stretch that's happening in the back of the legs. And have that be completely okay. Welcome that sensation. Oh, that opening of the tissue so that the blood goes into it, and that feels like this, which is not an unpleasant feeling. It is just another sensation. There's lots of sensations which are not necessarily good or bad. And then can you release the buttocks? Can you release the thighs? Can you release the upper arms? Can you release behind the Adam's apple? The tummy. Use the exhalation to soothe. Okay, bend the knees, flip the toe. Come on. Use your chair to hold on to if it helps to put one leg up. So we're going to do it's not a balance, it's a supportive balance, because obviously if this leg wasn't on anything, that would be a balance, but it is. So it's a half balance. And the pelvis faces your feet. So in a way, it's a bit like the meditation. You've got the breath, which is quite dynamic. I'm going to turn the other way. And the breath is the metronome and the body is the music. So the whole body, both the fingertips and the tips of the toes and the back of the neck and the top of the head and the soles of the feet and the position of the arms, the whole thing is the music. And you're using the exhalation to soften and to soothe and to quieten and to just become calmer in yourself. Our physical body responds to our emotional state. It is incredibly sensitive. It does so not when you're just extremely upset, but when you're a teeny bit upset or happy. You know, so just, and it goes in both directions. So just feel good about yourself as you breathe down through the spine, down to the standing leg, and let the arms. And again, you might want to, you know, wave or negotiate a way of getting your arms up to shoulder height that doesn't set off any mechanism. Can you release the buttock of the leg in the air? And can you release between the shoulder blades? Well done. It's quite a long time to stand on one leg, come down. So it's work. I know that's work. But quiet work. It's like, we're not going to go with the arms to start with. We're not starting, you know, it's very tempting. So when you're ready and the other foot goes up, release between the shoulder blades. Be empty in the back of the neck. Be buried if you can. It's a very nice feeling. If you can bury your body from the waist down and feel the upper body from the waist up, just a softness. with a space where the back of the neck used to be and where the neck meets the shoulders, and lovely softness and quietness in the face. The breath is the metronome, the body is the piece of music. And rotate, find a way to just rest the arms on their invisible cushions. You know, the idea is that you're not gripping your shoulder or neck muscles in order to hold your hands out. And if the hands are too much, just don't do it. Or hold them in a different plane, if that's better for your shoulders, have them in front of you or whatever. Listen to your own shoulders, or just don't bring them up so high. Certainly no higher. I'm trying to get. It's hard to know what you do with your own arms, isn't it? Really. Well, I have to say, that looks absolutely spot on, Rosie. And do it. And stroke the air as you come down. And just a moment to release the shoulders and the arms. I quite like doing the supported half moon on a chair. So how we do that one is you stand with your foot, can you see my hand? Just about, my foot right in front of the chair. And you're going to put your arm or your elbow, and again you might want to have a block or something on the chair, I don't know. Maybe not. It should be more or less okay. You lift your back leg up till it's more or less parallel to the ground. And then you lift up your top shoulder so that you turn the body, and then you let the arm follow the body. And it does, you need a strong standing leg, Jax. The standing leg's got to really. Okay. And just in the metronome and all the rest of it is the beat. Just lift up the head a teeny bit, Lena, so it's more like that. That's it. Not that's it. Lovely. Okay. I'm not saying you always should, actually. I think it's fine to drop the head, but it's also good to sometimes let you know as well. Side. Lean on the cushion. The strong standing leg is what we rely on, really. The rest of the body relies on the strong standing leg. Once that leg's in place, and obviously you've got some weight going down onto your chair, you feel that the top leg is being lifted by a sling around the thigh. The shoulder opens. And if you can, release the top shoulder. Beautiful. Lovely. It is different on a chair to on the ground, is it not? Okay, let's come at it. I fear it's time to get on the mat already. I just want to, before we lie down, I just want to do a couple of, to do a cat to start with. So without further ado, you all know what you're doing. Exhale, let the body follow the breath, drop down through the big hands and big hand pivots, let the tail come forward and get tangled in your antlers. As you exhale, exhale, the tail goes forward, the antlers grow and go down and back. The dorsal fin breaks the water above you. Just let the back move because we've been static, haven't we? So the breath is still the metronome. And the whole body is the piece of music that is in time, inevitably, to the breath, it responds to the breath. And when you feel that you want to, we're going to do a Cobra next. So it's the same as a cat, exactly the same as a cat. It's a cat with a long wheelbase. Although that really is mixing metaphors, cats and snakes and wheelbases. I'm sorry about that, but you know what I mean. The driver of the Cobra is the coccyx, really. But if you can't really feel the coccyx and sacrum, the bottom of the spine, the Cobra has to come 100% from the bottom of the spine. So move your interest from the nose to the bottom of the spine. Beautiful. Lovely. Yes. Good. Don't hold it. Almost as soon as you're there, Jax, I think you should come up and then arch the back in between. So that's it. Yes. Beautiful. Fabulous. And then you're ready to. So this is looking beautifully organic, I have to say. Deep water stuff. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. One more, not literally the last Cobra in this session. And then tuck the toes under. You can turn it into a dog, or you can come down and then come up into dog. If you're turning the Cobra into a dog, I think you're going to want to adjust your hand and foot position. Now, let's have a playful. Let's not keep still with this dog. I mean, let's do whatever you want to. I mean, if you want to, if you feel that your long wheelbase dog is just really settling, your Great Dane, then you just be a great Dane. But if you're feeling a bit more puppyish, then do that. Whatever kind of mutt you are this morning. Actually, not this morning, right now. Or to put another way, what does your body feel like doing? And if it feels like having a rest, have a rest. If it feels like having a stretch, have a stretch. If it feels like having a calm, then have a calm. Okay. Do a frog pose. Sliding down the exhalation and into the ground. It's a lovely feeling of just abandoning responsibility, just letting go, letting be, and living alongside that stretch. You know, that's a really useful ability to live alongside the stretch. And I don't mean that literally in every case. It's not always a stretch as such. Sometimes it's another sensation that we just learn to live alongside. Not have it be the centre of our lives, not be bothered by it. Let's come into floor twist, preparation for floor twist. Which might mean that you're going to be warm, might mean you want a head cushion. It's sometimes hard to remember what you do with which, but I think we did the one leg straight last week. I'm going to go back to both legs bent today. But obviously, you just do whichever version of all the poses that you want to do, that suits you, that you feel is right for you. Sometimes it's your inner teacher saying, well, actually, I think we should, really do this one. Go into your floor twist Gently, slowly, quietly. So you don't set off any, you do a minimal amount of damage to your equilibrium going into it. A small block, under a half block under the head is what they suggest, really. Some people don't need anything. Some people need 2 or 3 cushions because it's all just to do with the shape that we all are. And they're not all the same. So if you can come back to, if you can recreate this heaviness in the lower body, think about the ground having somehow grown over you from the waist downwards. So your legs are underground. That means that they're held fast, secure. If you're in a class here, I would be bringing weight bags and dropping them gently onto you so that you would be pinned and you wouldn't have to use muscles in order for the lower part of the body to be grounded. Do that first. Ground, drop, have the bottom half of you weighted. Because once you've achieved something there, and that means empty buttocks and thighs, once you've got that pure weight going down, then it becomes comparatively easy to release and soften the shoulders, the arms, the throat, the face, the chest, the tummy, the upper body. Oh, chest to gently open, which the position is doing. That the analogy you see in a lot of yoga books for the, I think it's the 3rd chakra, which is the one around the heart, is a lotus flower. The heart is often described or visualized as a lotus flower. And there's something in that, the fact that it opens, you've got the small in the middle, and they do unfurl and open from the center outwards and grow into this beautiful open to the sky flower in the center of your chest. It's a poetic, but it's also, to me, a slightly apposite image. So the lovely open heart and empty arms and heavy in the base. Just come back to the metronome breath. And it doesn't mean that it has to keep strict time. It's just that it's in the center of it all. Keeping time. It is the time signature. On the out breath, the body unwinds, sighs, undoes, settles, and is. It's isness. Being rather than doing. And there's the nostrils, the sensation in the nostrils. In the center of the whole thing. Okay, let's bring one leg up and over and back to the middle, and then when you're ready, go to side 2. I didn't mention, by the way, that the back elbow doesn't want to be floating in the air. I should have said that. If the elbow, if the hand touches the ground and that feels enough for you to release that shoulder, that's fine. But if you feel that you can't release the tension in the top shoulder, put the elbow on the ground. Or on a cushion. So that, the elbow is supported, and then you can release that shoulder. And during the exhalation is when the head becomes heavy as much as the pelvis become heavy. You give up the angst in the arms. You clear out the clutter from the back of the throat. Soothing yourself as you drop into the ground. And of course, the lower half of the body is now underground, held heavily, securely. Nothing, not our problem, and nothing we can do about it. The bottom half of the body can therefore just be ignored, left. So that you're spending your attention in the upper part of your body. And particularly as you breathe out, exhale, oh, the shoulders, oh, the arms, oh, the face, the tummy. Oh, have me ground. I give in, I yield. And the central sensation in the center of either the calm or the maelstrom, whatever's going on, is the nostrils, the feeling of the air, touching all the little hairs and the very sensitive skin on the inside of the nostrils, both nostrils. And the luxurious exhalation and the possible pause at the end of the exhalation. Just give yourself that extra moment to relish support of the floor and the softness inside the body. One more breath and then we'll get comfy. To rest. Now, in fact, I think what I'm going to do, I had a slight pull on my back yesterday, doing something I shouldn't have. And so I'm going to lie today with my feet up on the chair. So let's show you how I do that. In order to, I want to get my pelvis as close to the base of the chair as possible. So I go lie on my side next to, really close up to it before I bring my legs up. And that way, the edge of the cushion is right in the knees and you can feel the side of the chair on the back of the thighs. It's very nice for the back. If you've had anything happen to your back, lower back, you will find having your legs up a big relief. Oh, meditating. Oh, how nice. The ground is nice. It's not a strong enough word, is it? How important. Stalwart. And wonderfully reliable. Absolutely rock solid, reliable, this ground that we're lying on there. it is not going to move. We are not going to drop through it, no matter how heavy we manage to become. It's as if the ground wants more and more and more of our weight, and we simply can't give it enough. So partly when we go around the body, we're just checking that we have given up our weight to the upward thrust of gravity. And let's start under the head, where the head is touching the ground. Are the jaws soft? Are the eyeballs themselves resting with gravity at the base of the eye socket, and the forehead allowed to be totally quiet? The skin in the face is allowed to be totally empty. The lips, the tongue, the inside of the mouth, cheeks, round the jaws, empty. Oh, all around. If you just feel, sense the throat, the inside of your own neck. Where is there? Is there any tightness? Where is it? Is there anything you can do about it? Oh, this is a dance to the metronome of the breath. The exhalation is the chance to release. The inhalation, we need to watch out that we're not becoming tense again, that's all. So the inhalation is characterized by coolness that we can quite clearly feel inside both nostrils. And then the exhalation, the soothing release as you now release the arms, the shoulders, completely. All the arm muscles just undo, unwind, do less, decide to do nothing with the arms, and then decide to do nothing with the arms again because they didn't quite hear it all the first time. And then maybe if you held the arms for a third time, they might begin to properly do less. They won't stop. At least my arms don't ever seem to really go completely empty while I'm awake, but I can feel I can make a difference. And then the weight of the pelvis. Now the pelvis, if you're lying flat on the ground, is the heaviest bit of you. So there's a naturalness and ease to just letting the pelvis, the buttocks go. Just jettison all responsibility for the hips and the buttocks and the thighs and the groins and the whole, all that area, just boof, heavy, 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 heavy. What's going on the back of the torso and the back of the legs? Back of the torso, back of the torso, back of the waist, around the shoulder blades, across the top of the pelvis, and then also the back of the legs, which is going to be different, all lying in slightly different positions. So it's the contact points that are really useful. If we can really let go wherever you feel your contact in the ground, use that contact to release those muscles completely. And then come back to the nose and the feeling of the breath inside the nose, the nostrils. Make that vivid. You know, if you had to write 3 or 4 or 5 sentences about the experience of the air inside the nostrils, what can you notice? What can you pick up on that maybe you hadn't before? And then abandoning the nostrils and being drawn back down to the tummy. which even if you're breathing fairly shallowly, you will feel some hint of what's going on with the breath from the point of view of the tummy. So don't exaggerate the breath, and still make that that's a bit of a challenge. If you don't exaggerate the breath, can you still feel the breath from the tummy's point of view, or is it so shallow that you're not feeling the breath really move in the tummy? So as we rest, the breath naturally tends to become more shallow. The inhalation and the exhalation will tend to have less, if any, of a gap between them. It becomes more of a shallow weave. So just watch how the inhalation becomes the exhalation, and the exhalation then in its own time and pace, exactly as it chooses, becomes the inhalation. Don't take part. Don't judge the length of your breath. Let the breath decide what it wants to do, and see if you can be a witness and just watch it. And you'll notice after a little while that your attention has drifted, and that's absolutely fine. Enjoy drifting.